Blackstatic here. Thanks for tuning in. If this is your first time listening, then I would suggest going back to episode 1. It will explain everything you need to know. Now, today's topic is homophobia. I decided to do this because of the recent Orlando shooting. I know there was some conflict between a Black Lives Matter activist and the white crowd at the vigil being held for the victims, which I will get to. But right now, I just want to get down to the LGBT's community's relationship with the African American slash Black community. Unfortunately, the Black community is very homophobic. Now, as I always say, I'm not going to say that every Black person is homophobic because they're not, but it is an issue that our community has always struggled with, and it's hard to really pinpoint why this is so. I think it has to do with our ties to Christian religion and hip hop, which I will get down to separately someday, but those two groups are most associated with homophobia, in my opinion, in terms of the Black community. Now, when I say homophobia in the Black community, that's a really broad phrase. There are many forms that it takes. In my experiences, I've seen a lot of it stem from the fact that many Blacks think of homosexuality as a sin, and so they disdain anything related to it. In my first video, I used the word fruity, and this is a term that I've seen thrown around as a homosexual slur. From the male point of view, I've seen homophobic dads who not only relate being gay as a sin, but also as a form of femininity, as a form of weakness. And it's sad because many of these Black men don't see themselves as intolerant people. They honestly believe that they're toughing their sons up, even when they go as far as pouring boiling water on them. I'm not. I'm actually gonna pause here because I want you guys to check out that link. Um, it's awful, to be honest, but it gives you a glimpse into the more hateful aspects of um, my community, and I hate to admit that, but I'm not gonna lie. The stepfather of these two men poured boiling water on them because he didn't like the fact that they were gay. They suffered second and third degree burns. When the police arrested the man, he said, "They'll be all right. It was just a little hot water." This is what I mean by homophobic Black men feeling the need, or feeling that being gay somehow equates to being weak. And the only way to stop the gayness is to beat the weakness out of them. It's despicable. I'm not saying that you have to agree with homosexuality, but pouring boiling water on someone is fucking insane. It's like Black fathers think that they failed as a parent if their sons are gay. There's still a lot of belief among the Black community that being gay is a choice, and they think that if their sons are gay, it's because they're lashing out or something like that. I can't definitively say that being gay is or isn't a choice, but beating your kids is not going to improve things. Now, before I get called a fucking feminist, because I'm always rapping about dads or whatever, I am going to rant on Black moms too. Black moms still have those feelings that they failed as a parent if their child turns out gay, but they're more prone to approach homophobia from the religious standpoint. To them, being gay is the ultimate slap in the face because their child is essentially sucking Satan's dick or something like that. They might bring out the Bible and demand that their children pray the gay way, or they'll despise their children for not being normal and making their lives as mothers more difficult. For the mother's from the mother's point of view, being gay is also a minority double whammy. Black moms already perceive their children as disadvantaged, which is true, and there's reasons for that. But being homosexual just adds to those disadvantages. So when you add in the fact that being gay also hinders the family line from continuing, Black moms are just all about ready to collapse in the name of Jesus. Trust me. Um, it's a psychological abuse that contributes to the high levels of HIV among gay Black males. And look, honestly, teenagers are gonna have sex. I know there's an unspoken belief in the Black community that homosexual men and women are more promiscuous, more promiscuous than heterosexual men and women. I can't confirm if this is true or not, but I believe that teens who live in fear of their sexuality would be more prone to engage in risky behavior just to avoid getting caught by their parents. So it's just something to keep in mind. And then finally, we have hip hop. Now, I'm not going to act like hip hop is the only music genre that has attacked the LGBT communities, because that's not true. There are other genres, cough, country, but it does have its persistent pockets of prejudice. Kanye West actually talked about this in 2005. He said that when he was growing up, he was always looking for a source of constant masculinity. Being gay meant that you were feminine or you were weak. Where my opinion differs over Kanye is that the idea that rap is just this rainbow breaking down barriers and speaking your mind and shit. I mean, rap definitely has those traits, but I think it's more about image. In my opinion, rappers aren't necessarily trying to be homophobic, but they are trying to be hard. They're trying to be the opposite of politically correct, and they're all about showing everyone else who's the biggest dog in camp. Like Eminem, for example. His songs have always been over the top offensive, but I've never got the impression that he honestly hates gays or women. I think it's more about the image behind it. being able to shock audiences with a vulgarity that isn't found in other genres. You know, rappers will battle each other out, they'll get under each other's skin, and they'll say whatever they can to make themselves look tough. Homophobia in hip hop culture isn't really about artists despising or fearing homosexuals. It's more about them seeing it as just another chink in someone's armor, which really isn't good, I guess. But if you have to understand, that's what rap is all about. It's about that aggression. You can't take it too personally or you lose. Plus, society as a whole, I think, is starting to not see homosexuality as a weakness. You have the pride events, you have the celebrities speaking out, politicians, etc. Macklemore came out with his, what was it, Same Love Song a while ago. And Young Thug has been just really supportive of the gay scene. I'm just about to, I'm kidding. I'm kidding about Young Thug, but I'm not trying to be in some Twitter drama or some shit like that. But yeah, to bring to bring it all around, I think that the black community in hip hop are starting to improve greatly with their homophobia. Shows like Empire bring to light how much it hurts us as a whole, and I think we are starting to realize we gotta let this shit go. We can't be slaves to the white man's religion forever, you know. And I know that's gonna get some people mad, but I really don't fucking care. It's true. Now, let's flip the script though. Earlier I said that I would talk about the Black Lives Matter activists rallying up a vigil for the victims of Orlando. Now, all I really heard was that the person speaking said she was intimidated because there was a lot of white people there, and she didn't like how there was more support for the LGBT people than there were for black people. I'm gonna say this straight up. She was wrong for that shit. 49 people died. Regardless of your political views, you should really have some respect and be there to support others. Going there just to antagonize people hurts the cause of the Black Lives Matter movement more than it helps it, honestly. It makes it seem like, you know, we just care about ourselves and that we're all focused on, you know, black people and that's it. It's really not. It's about just exposing the issues of black people and the black community. And also, I think it's about just letting us have more pride and confidence in ourselves as, you know, to ourselves, saying that to us as black people. But I'll talk about that in a different episode. But yeah, with that being said, though, there are issues of the LGBT community being prejudiced towards blacks. And it's like, what? You know? Yeah, believe it. I was actually reading an article a while back about gay neo-Nazis. And son, I swear I thought it was from The Onion or some shit like that. I mean, what the fuck is it's a gay neo-Nazi, an oxymoron? Like, let me grab this shit really quick and post it for you guys. What kills me is the fact that they actually they have two fucking dicks for the symbol. Like, they call themselves Gash. I'm so done. I'm just reading this like, what the fuck? Okay, what I was trying to say though, that the LGBT community isn't immune to being prejudiced. You know, there are white gays who are quick to preach about diversity, but you never really see them doing anything to support non-white, non-male gays, or even if it's just other minorities in general. It's like an anti-good old boys club for the good old boys club, if that makes any sense. So yeah, it does go both ways. I'm not excusing either side, but I just want people to be aware. You know, I'm pretty much done rapping about this. I said all that I really wanted to say. So if you have an experience that you want to add or something to say, just comment below. Stay tuned.